Warm welcome to all my students. Today I am here with a very interesting topic, entrepreneur, its definitions, concepts and characteristics. To begin with, let me elucidate on how the very word entrepreneur has been developed. The word entrepreneur is derived from the French word entreprendre, which means to undertake. That is, the person who undertakes the risks of new enterprise. In the early 16th century, the Frenchman who organized and led military expeditions was referred as entrepreneurs. In 1775, economist Richard Cantillon, an Irishman living in France, used the term entrepreneur for the first time to refer to economic and business activities. Yes, the capacity of a country for economic growth and development is determined by three factors. First one, the human, second physical, and third financial. On this human resource factor, the most strategic and critical, in absence of which even an abundance of natural and physical resources, machinery and capital may go grossly underutilized or misused. Thus, the major task which is being confronted by our developing country India is building of human capital. This human capital would operationally mean the entrepreneur. Now, let us limelight the various definitions of entrepreneur given by different experts. According to Richard Cantillon, an entrepreneur is a person who buys factor services at certain prices with a view to selling its product at uncertain prices. Thus, to Cantillon, an entrepreneur is a bearer of risks which is non-insurable. In the word of JVC, an entrepreneur is the agent who unites all factors of production and who finds in the value of the product the re-establishment of the entire capital he employs and the value of wages, the interest and the rent which he pays, as well as the profits belonging to himself. He may or may not supply capital, but he must have judgment, perseverance and knowledge of the world of business, and he must possess art of superintendence and administration. With J. S. Schumpeter, another person, the term entrepreneur has derived a wide acclaim. He defined entrepreneur as an innovator who carries out new combination to initiate the process of economic development through introduction of new products, new markets, conquest of the new sources of raw materials, and establishment of a new organization or industry. An entrepreneur, as defined by David C. McClellan, an entrepreneur is a person who exercises some control over the means of production and produces more than what he can consume in order to sell or otherwise exchange it for individual or household income. F.S. Knight, in his article on risks, uncertainty and profit, propounded the maxim that entrepreneurs are a specialized group of persons who bear risks and deal with uncertainty. He also identified social, psychological and economic factors which govern the supply of entrepreneurship. And according to J.S. Mill, he said the word entrepreneur is nothing but an organizer who was paid on his non-manual type of work. According to him, extraordinary skill acted as the bedrock in production process that ought to be possessed by the entrepreneur. Yes, according to F.A. Walker, entrepreneur is one who is endowed with more than average capacities in the task of organizing and coordinating the factors of production, that is, land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Then, according to another person called Peter F. Drucker, entrepreneur is the one who always searches for change, respond to it, and exploit it as an opportunity. And innovation is the basic tool of entrepreneur, the means by which they exploit change as an opportunity for a different business or service. International Labour Organization defines entrepreneur are those people who have the ability to see and evaluate business opportunities, together with the necessary resources to take advantage of them and to initiate appropriate action to ensure success. Even though every single definition of the entrepreneur attempts to define completely and perfectly, there is always a space for improvement. This is because of the dynamics of change and has the array of opportunities that initiates and implements qualitative and quantitative progress, by which entrepreneur as the role of change agent will continue to respond and strive for success. Okay, now let us conceptualize the term entrepreneur. India currently is in the midst of a new wave of business and economic development, and entrepreneurship is the catalyst. Yet, the social and economic forces of entrepreneurial activity existed long before the new millennium. The entrepreneurial spirit has driven many of the humanity achievements. Today, an entrepreneur is an innovator or developer who recognizes and seizes opportunities, convert those opportunities into workable, marketable ideas, add value through time, effort, money, or skills, assume the risks of competitive marketplace to implement these ideas, and realizes the rewards from these efforts. Therefore, entrepreneur can be perceived as a person who combines innovativeness, high need for achievement, takes calculated risks, senses opportunities, identifies and mobilizes potential resources, concerns for excellence, comprehends competition and collaboration, and persists in achieving the goal. If we go through the business history of India, we come across the name of person who have emerged as successful entrepreneur. For example, Tata, Birla, Verghese Kurian, also known as the father of white revolution, etc. Now, the question is, what makes entrepreneur successful? Whether they had common in their personal characteristics. The scanning of their personal characteristics shows that there are certain characteristics of entrepreneur which are found usually common and prominent in them. I am discussing 25 common characteristics of every successful entrepreneur which have been possessed by them in adequate measures. Let us try to know one by one. First one is creativity. Entrepreneurs have the ability to bring incredible new into existence. They can therefore conceive of something new and envision how it will be useful and necessarily take the needful action to make it a reality. The creative process for an idea involves 5 stages. First one, the germination stage. Number 2, preparation. Number 3, incubation. Number 4, illumination. And number 5 is verification. Yes, entrepreneurship develops balanced contribution in all the stages in order to bring congruence in the outcome. Second characteristic is need to achieve. Entrepreneurs have strong desire to achieve high goals. The inner self motivates their behavior towards high achievement, and entrepreneur with high need for achievement factors strives continuously to achieve the goal and make their dreams come true. The third important characteristic is risk bearing. Entrepreneurs are the person who take decisions under uncertainty, and thus they are willing to take risks, but they never gamble with results. They choose moderate risks rather than play wild gamble. They therefore take calculated risks which is high enough to be exciting, but with a fairly reasonable chance to win. The fourth characteristic is locus of control. Let's try to know. According to Reuters, locus of control theory, an individual observes the outcome of an event as being either within or beyond the personal control. Entrepreneurs perceive in their own ability to control the consequences of their endeavor by influencing their socio-economic environment rather than leave everything to luck. Yes, come to the fifth point. The fifth point is perseverance. Entrepreneurs have the quality of sticking to jobs they decide to undertake. Once committed to a specific goal and course of action, entrepreneurs become absorbed to it. They personally solve the problem that come across their way while setting up the project. Sixth characteristic is positive self-concept. Entrepreneur being an achiever, he directs his creative thinking towards achievement of worthwhile goals and sets extraordinary standards of excellence in what he is doing. And therefore, entrepreneurs are always positive in their action, and this is based upon his awareness of SWOT analysis, or otherwise known as strength, weakness, opportunities and threats analysis. Seventh characteristic is ability to sense and explore opportunities. Entrepreneurs are always attentive to sense, see, explore and capture opportunities. They always exhibit an innovative turn of mind and convert the problems into viable opportunities. The eighth characteristic is hope of success. Entrepreneurs set their goals within a balance hope of success and fear of failure. This is because they set their goals on the basis of facts and the ability to maneuver it, reaching their target. Possible fear of failure makes entrepreneur the contingency plan well in advance before endeavoring attacks. Now let us try to understand the ninth characteristics, that is the flexibility. Entrepreneurs have open mind without rigidity. Successful entrepreneurs measure the pros and cons of a decision and tend to change if the situation demands. They never feel reluctant to revise their decisions. Yes, the 10th point is really very important. The 10th point is emotional intelligence. Entrepreneurs are unaffected by personal likes and dislikes. They are realistic and stand beyond prejudice and stereotypes. They usually avoid emotional and sensitive attitude towards the business or problem. 11 characteristics of entrepreneur: sense of efficacy. Entrepreneurs are always oriented towards action for accomplishment of their goals. Being confident of their abilities, They find themselves as problem solvers rather than problem avoiders. They chalk out their goals for future and make planning to achieve them. Now let us come to the 12th characteristic of entrepreneur, that is openness to feedback and learning from experience. Entrepreneurs seek to have immediate feedback to their performance. They modify their plans on the basis of feedback they receive from the environment around them. They learn from experience and never get discouraged having received unfavorable information. The 13th characteristic of entrepreneur is confronting uncertainty. Entrepreneurs are always optimistic and take every odds as opportunity. They maneuver the environment in such a way that the works get accomplished rationally. Thus they achieve by the application of their extraordinary insight and skill. The 14th characteristic of entrepreneur is interpersonal skill. Entrepreneurs are always comfortable while dealing with people at all levels. During the course of action to reap success, they come across a cross-section of individuals with whom they have to deal. They interact with raw material suppliers, customers, backers, etc. for their activities. Yes, next let us try to understand the 15th characteristic of entrepreneur, that is need to influence others. Once the entrepreneurs set their goals, they have to play the roles of manager too. For influencing others, that is need for power. A low need to establish emotional relationship, that is low need for achievement, and a high need to discipline one's own self, that is to inhibit other expression of their personality, are essential. 16th characteristic of entrepreneur is stress takers. Entrepreneurs are capable of working for long hours and solving different complexities at the same time. As a leader of an enterprise, an entrepreneur faces a number of problems, and in right moment he takes right decision which may involve physical as well as mental stress. Again, next comes the 17th characteristic. It is nothing but a time orientation. Yes, entrepreneurs anticipate future trends basing upon the past experiences and exposures. They stick to the time pragmatically while doing their jobs. The next characteristic is innovators. Successful entrepreneurs are innovators. Innovation is a specific instrument of entrepreneurship. It is the act that endows resources with a capacity to create wealth. Innovation indeed creates a resource. Successful entrepreneur, whatever their individual motivation, be it money, power, curiosity, or a desire for fame and recognition, try to create values and to make a contribution. The 19th characteristic of entrepreneur is business communication skills. Possessing good communication is a must in order to motivate others in the business. Both written and oral communication skills are necessary for the entrepreneurs for running enterprise efficiently. The 20th characteristic of entrepreneur is telescopic vision. Successful entrepreneurs always tend to think ahead. They have telescopic vision which make them think for the future. Future orientations make them quite alert to the changing condition of the time, and they tend to produce goods and commodities as per the changing demands. The 21st characteristic of entrepreneur is leadership. Entrepreneurs possess the quality of leaders. Leadership is the ability to exert interpersonal influence by means of communication towards the achievement of goals. Entrepreneur as the leader of the group, can ensure high performance by creating a well-to-do environment among others. They must have the capability to arrive at prompt and correct direction and win the confidence of their subordinates. Let us understand the 22nd characteristic of entrepreneur, that is business planning. Planning implies deciding in advance what, when and how to do a thing. Entrepreneurs should be adept in planning their business, and planning is an intellectual approach to solution of the probable problems. Therefore, entrepreneurs should be equipped with skills and knowledge to prepare their business plan. Let us try to understand the 23rd characteristic of entrepreneur, that is decision making. Decision making skill is a fundamental characteristic of an entrepreneur. This implies the function of choosing a particular course of action out of several alternative courses for the purpose of achieving specific goals. It reflects the quality and competency of the entrepreneur and is very much necessary at every stage of creation of an enterprise. The stages being setting of goals, formulation of policies, designing organizational structure, motivation, communication and control. Yes, let us again understand the 24th characteristic of entrepreneur, that is ability to mobilize resources. Entrepreneurs have the ability to marshal all the inputs to obtain the end product. They are excellent in mobilizing 6 M's, that is man, money, material, machinery, market and method, effectively to realize the final product, as entrepreneurship is a function of gap filling and input completing. Yes, let us try to understand the 25th characteristics of entrepreneur, that is self-confidence. Entrepreneurs must have self-confidence to accomplish the tasks effectively and efficiently. They have decisions on their own in uncertain and risky situation and stick to it confidently despite of initial setbacks. To conclude with, I hereby comment that entrepreneurs have historically altered the direction of national economies, industries or markets. The entrepreneur is the aggressive catalyst for change in the world of competitive business. He or she is the independent thinker who dares to be different in a background of common events. As per the Agriculture Policy Vision 2020, there would be around 2.5 million tons of extra demand for food grains annually in our country, while significant increases are being needed in the supply of livestock, fish and horticulture products as well. If Indian economy has to be achieved an annual average GDP growth of around 9.5 to 10% in the next 5 years, agriculture sector has to grow by around 4.5 to 5%. To realize this growth, entrepreneur will definitely steward and contribute a significant paradigm shift in food security of our country. Hence, entrepreneurs are thus the seeds of agricultural and industrial development and the fruits of organizational development. They have introduced quantum leaps in agricultural technology and more productive uses. They have enhanced the relocation of resources away from existing uses to new and more productive uses. Many innovations have transformed the society and altered our pattern of living and many services have been introduced to make Indian agriculture a leading agriculture in the world. With this note, I wind up my class for today. Thank you so much for your active listening, active participation in my class.